Greetings from the Book Whisper. Every story is a journey into a world of love, passion, deception, and self-discovery. Close your eyes, let the sounds carry you away, and may this story touch your heart. A Tangle of Hearts. A novel in 5 parts. Setting, Boston, Massachusetts. Chapter 1, The Gilded Facade. The first time Olivia saw him, she thought of a storm held in check. Liam Thorne stood at the edge of the Charity Gala's dance floor, a glass of whiskey dangling from his long fingers, surveying the room with an intensity that seemed out of place amidst the soft chandelier glow and the clinking of crystal. He wasn't the most handsome man there. That title belonged to his best friend, William Sterling, with his easy, movie star smile, but Liam had a gravity, a quiet, magnetic pull that made the air around him feel denser. Olivia, her arm linked through William's, felt the pull like a physical shift in the room. She was his perfect +1, elegant in a midnight blue gown, her smile practiced and warm, her laughter timed perfectly to William's anecdotes. They were Boston's golden couple, William, the charismatic heir to a shipping empire, and Olivia, the brilliant art curator who had softened his edges and given his family name a touch of intellectual refinement. The press adored them, their friends envied them. Olivia, most days, was just tired. "Darling, you must meet Liam," William said, guiding her through the crowd. "My oldest friend, recently returned from conquering the venture capital world in San Francisco. A savage, really, but we love him." Liam's eyes, a cool, assessing gray, met Olivia's. The handshake was firm, his skin warm. "Olivia, William's descriptions didn't do you justice. He undersold your stillness." "Stillness?" she asked, her eyebrow arching. "Most people complimented her energy, her grace." "You observe," he said simply, taking a sip of his drink. "It's rare. Most people in this room are performing." A shiver, delicious and dangerous, traced her spine. William, already distracted by a senator's wife, missed the exchange entirely. The affair began not with a bang, but with a series of quiet collisions. A chance meeting at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, where Olivia was preparing a new exhibit. Liam, it turned out, was a silent patron. He found her in a sun-drenched courtyard, studying a ledger. "Botticelli's The Story of Lucretia," he said, gesturing to the empty space on the wall. "A bold choice, a story of virtue violated, leading to revolution, not the usual peaceful backdrop for donor luncheons." "It's about power," Olivia replied, closing her ledger, "and the consequences of taking what isn't yours." His smile was a slow, private thing. "Is it, or is it about a woman using the only form of power society left her own tragedy to ignite change?" They talked for an hour, about art, about the stifling weight of expectation, about the quiet desperation of living a life designed by committee. He spoke of San Francisco not with triumph, but with a kind of weary cynicism. She spoke of her engagement to William not with joy, but with a vague, unnameable regret. When he left, he didn't ask for her number, he simply said, "Until next time, Olivia." There was a next time, and a time after that. Coffee became lunch, lunch became long walks along the Charles River. The intimacy wasn't physical, not at first. It was intellectual, emotional, a meeting of two souls who had spent years speaking a language no one around them understood. He saw the woman beneath the perfectly curated facade, the one who craved passion and chaos and real, messy feeling. She saw the man beneath the austere businessman, the one who possessed a startling, almost poetic sensitivity. The betrayal of William felt almost secondary, an inevitable administrative step in the face of what was growing between her and Liam. The first time they made love, in Liam's minimalist apartment with its floor-to-ceiling views of the city, it wasn't about lust, it was a confession, a desperate, silent communication of all the words they'd already said and the millions more they hadn't. Afterward, she cried, and he held her, his lips against her temple. "I'll tell him," she whispered into the dark. "Tomorrow." "Don't," Liam said, his voice rough. "Not yet. Let's have this, just for a little while. Once it's out in the open, it becomes a thing for them to dissect, a scandal. Let it be ours." It was the first crack in their perfect secret, the first hint that his need for control might run deeper than her need for liberation, but she agreed. The secrecy added a layer of painful, exquisite intensity, every stolen glance at a party, every covert text, every afternoon spent in his bed felt like a revolution against the gilded cage of her life. She began to lie with an ease that frightened her, lunches with donors, late nights at the museum, her friend Sophia, the bubbly event planner, and Evelyn, the sharp-tongued lawyer, teased her about her dedication. Amelia, William's perceptive younger sister, sometimes watched her with a quiet, knowing look that made Olivia's blood run cold. The web was spinning, delicate and strong, and Olivia, in the center, was too intoxicated by the feeling of finally being seen to notice she was becoming more trapped than ever. Chapter 2, The Unraveling. The catalyst for the unraveling was, ironically, a party meant to celebrate unity, William's parents' 40th wedding anniversary, a sprawling, opulent affair at their Beacon Hill mansion. Olivia was to be the hostess in training, the dutiful future daughter-in-law. Liam, of course, was invited. Seeing him in this context, in William's family home, surrounded by the life she was supposedly choosing, was a special kind of torture. He played his part flawlessly, the loyal friend, the successful guest. He complimented William's mother, debated politics with his father, and only once, when passing Olivia on the grand staircase, did his mask slip. His fingers brushed the small of her back, a touch so brief and hot it felt like a brand. It was Amelia who cornered her in the library, a glass of champagne in her hand. At 24, she possessed an old soul's weariness. "You're in love with him, aren't you?" she said, without preamble. Olivia's heart stopped. She followed Amelia's gaze across the room, where Liam was laughing at something William said. She opened her mouth to deny, to deflect. "Don't," Amelia sighed. "I've watched you for months. You glow when he's in the room, you dim when he leaves. It's the way my mother used to look at her piano teacher," before she trailed off, taking a sip. "I'm not going to tell William. He's my brother, but he's also a narcissist who thinks a ring and a press release constitute emotional labor. But you should know something about Liam." "I know him," Olivia said, defensively. "Do you?" Amelia's eyes were sad. "Do you know about Charlotte?" The name landed like a stone. Charlotte? In San Francisco, she was everything to him, from what I heard. Brilliant, beautiful, an architect. They were practically engaged. Then, suddenly, she was gone. He left a month later. William says she broke his heart, but the way Liam talks about it, it's not with sadness, it's with anger, a cold, controlled fury. Just be careful, Olivia. Some storms don't clear the air, they just destroy everything in their path. The seed of doubt was planted. That night, in Liam's apartment, she was distant. He sensed it immediately. "What's wrong?" he asked, his hands cupping her face. "Who is Charlotte?" He went utterly still, the warmth in his eyes solidified into ice. He released her and walked to the window. "William," he finally spat the name, "or Amelia, they have no right." "Who was she, Liam?" "A mistake," he said, his voice flat. "A lesson. She taught me that love is just another transaction. She chose a partnership with a senior firm over our partnership. She took everything she learned from me, every dream we built together, and monetized it." He turned, and the raw pain on his face melted her suspicion. "She is the reason I don't believe in promises, only in what is real, in this moment, and this," he said, crossing the room and kissing her with a desperate, hungry passion, "is real. You are real, Olivia, don't let their world poison this." She believed him, she chose to believe him. The doubt made his touch feel more urgent, their secret more vital. Her relationship with William became a hollow pantomime. She started picking fights, hoping he would see the cracks, hoping he would set her free, but William, blissfully unaware, attributed it to wedding stress and bought her bigger gifts. The intricate dance might have continued for months had Olivia not seen the text. She'd left her phone charging in Liam's bedroom and used his to check the time. A notification flashed on the screen. "Matteo, business partner, meeting with C finalized. She's on board. The sterling portfolio is the key. We move when you give the word." A cold trickle of unease dripped down her neck. The sterling portfolio, William's family's business. She knew Liam and his partner Matteo were raising a massive new fund. Was William an investor? It made sense, but the phrasing "she's on board," who was she? Paranoia, once seated, grows in the dark. Olivia began to notice other things. The way Liam sometimes steered their conversations toward William's work, his father's health, the company's upcoming merger. The questions were subtle, wrapped in concern or casual interest, but they were persistent. She remembered his anger about Charlotte, the transaction. A horrible, creeping thought began to form. Was she the transaction? Chapter 3, The Spider's Web. Driven by a new, frantic fear, Olivia did something she'd never imagined herself capable of. She began to investigate. She used her museum access to dig into San Francisco Society archives, looking for Charlotte. She found a few mentions: Charlotte Dubois, rising star at a prestigious firm, a photo from a gala 2 years prior, on the arm of a handsome, smiling Liam. They looked incandescent. Then, nothing. She hired a discreet, and exorbitantly expensive, private investigator recommended by a wary Evelyn. For your own peace of mind, Evelyn said, her lawyerly tone leaving no room for argument. The investigator's first report was a bomb detonating in the quiet of her perfectly decorated life. Liam Thorne and Mateo Rodriguez were not just raising a fund, they were orchestrating a hostile takeover of a key subsidiary of Sterling Shipping. The subsidiary was vulnerable due to old debts and William's father's inattention. The C in the text was Charlotte Dubois, who now worked for the very debt-holding company that controlled the subsidiary's fate. She was, according to the investigator's sources, motivated by a personal grievance against Mr. Thorne and a very large financial incentive. The pieces clicked together with a sound that echoed in Olivia's soul. Liam hadn't come back to Boston for her. He'd come back for revenge on a world he felt had wronged him, and William's family was a fat, easy target. The grievance with Charlotte was clearly mutual, and now they were using each other in a new, toxic business alliance. And where did she, Olivia, fit in? The report suggested it, and her heart knew it was true. She was the insider, the Trojan horse. Her role was to keep William distracted, emotionally vulnerable, and to provide Liam with intimate knowledge of the family's dynamics, weaknesses, and plans. Her pillow talk was his business intelligence. The night she received the report, she sat in her silent apartment, staring at the engagement ring on her finger, a flawless 3-carat diamond that now felt like a shekel. She wasn't the heroine of a passionate love story. She was a pawn in a bitter man's game of corporate and personal vengeance. The love she felt, the transformative passion she had experienced, was it even real, or was it just a masterful manipulation, a performance designed to make her pliable and blind? The betrayal was so profound it felt like a physical annihilation. She had betrayed William for a lie. She had shattered her own integrity for a phantom. The tears that came were silent, endless, and devoid of any catharsis. They were the tears of utter humiliation. But within the ruin, a cold, hard clarity formed. Olivia had spent a lifetime observing, performing, and accommodating. It was time to use those skills for her own ends. If this was a game of intrigue, she would learn to play, and she would win. Chapter 4, The Counter Gambit. She didn't confront Liam. Instead, she became a better actress than she had ever been. She met him the next day, her eyes shining with fabricated adoration. She apologized for her recent distance, blaming it on pre-wedding nerves and feeling guilty about William. "I want to be with you, fully," she whispered against his chest. "No more secrets from each other. Tell me what's happening, the real you, the business, the stress, everything. Let me be your partner, not just your secret." Liam, perhaps seeing the final piece of his puzzle click into place, perhaps believing his own performance had been that convincing, began to share more. He spoke in broad strokes about the opportunity with Sterling Shipping, framing it as a brilliant, necessary restructuring that William's fossilized father would never approve. He needed leverage, information. "It's messy, my love," he said, stroking her hair, "but when it's over, we'll have the freedom and the resources to be together, without anyone or anything hanging over us. We can leave all of this behind." She nodded, burying her face in his shoulder to hide the icy contempt in her eyes. "Leave it behind, just like Charlotte." She started feeding him information, but it was carefully curated, strategically altered intelligence. She exaggerated William's father's recovery from a minor heart procedure, suggesting a renewed vigor for the business. She invented a fictional rival bidder from Europe, sparking urgency and potentially reckless moves on Liam's part. She whispered fears about William's trust fund being tied up in legalities, making him a less liquid and reliable target than he seemed. Simultaneously, she began a different, even more dangerous performance for William. She became the repentant, devoted fiancé. She initiated conversations about the future, about the family business, showing a keen, supportive interest. She suggested couples therapy to strengthen their bond before the wedding. William, flattered and relieved, began to confide in her more than ever. He spoke freely about the subsidiary's troubles, about his father's stubbornness, about the vulture investors circling. Olivia was now the central switchboard in a complex web of deceit, funneling manipulated information in both directions. She felt herself splitting in two, the heartbroken lover plotting revenge on Liam, and the guilty traitor trying to protect the man she had betrayed. The strain was immense, a constant, humming anxiety that lived in her bones. The climax approached at the Sterling Shipping Annual Board Retreat in Newport. It was the weekend where final votes on the subsidiary's fate would be cast. Liam had told her his plan, a last-minute, shocking bid from a shell corporation, his and Mateo's, backed by Charlotte's debt leverage, would be presented, aiming to cause panic and secure a cheap victory. Olivia knew it was time. The night before the vote, she requested a private meeting with William and his father in the library of the Grand Hotel. She was trembling, but her voice was steady. "I have something to tell you," she began, "and then I have something to give you." She confessed the affair, the bald, ugly truth of it. William's face cycled through shock, hurt, and a towering, silent rage. His father looked at her with grim disappointment. Then, she handed them a file. It contained copies of the investigator's report, summaries of Liam's manipulated plans based on her false information, and a recorded conversation, captured on her phone, of Liam detailing the final takeover strategy, mentioning Charlotte and Mateo by name. "He used me to get to you," she said, her voice breaking with real emotion, shame, grief, and a sliver of defiant pride. "But he underestimated me. The information he has is flawed. The rival bidder doesn't exist. Your father's health prognosis is better than I led him to believe, and the debt Charlotte holds has a mutual early termination clause I accidentally omitted from the documents I described to him. If you act first, you can lock them out." The room was silent. William stared at her, not as a betrayed fiancé, but as a strategist assessing an unexpected asset. His father finally spoke. "This is a hell of a way to prove your loyalty, young lady." "It's not loyalty," Olivia said, meeting his gaze, "it's survival, and justice." Chapter 5, The Unmasking. The next day, in the boardroom overlooking the Atlantic, the final act played out. Liam, Mateo, and a coldly elegant Charlotte presented their aggressive, under-market bid. They projected confidence, the quiet certainty of predators who have already circled their wounded prey. William's father, looking stronger and sharper than he had in years, let them finish. Then he stood. "An interesting proposal, Mr. Thorne, Ms. Dubois. Bold, ruthless, even." He paused, letting the word hang. "It reminds me of another proposal made some years ago, to a young woman in San Francisco, a proposal of partnership, I believe, that was rejected for a more immediately lucrative opportunity." Charlotte's composure flickered, Liam's jaw tightened. "We, however," the elder Sterling continued, "have received a superior offer." He outlined a counter-strategy that perfectly anticipated and neutralized every element of Liam's plan. He revealed the debt clause, announced a new line of credit from a European bank, the fictional rival, made real, and presented a restructured plan for the subsidiary that made it not a liability, but a crown jewel. The board was captivated. Liam's face was a mask of stone, but his eyes found Olivia, who was sitting quietly in the observers section beside a stoic William. In that moment, he understood. The storm in him broke behind his eyes, a maelstrom of fury, shock, and a dawning, horrible admiration. After the vote, which was a unanimous rejection of Liam's bid, Olivia found him waiting for her in the hotel's deserted gardens, the sea crashing behind him. "Why?" The single word was ripped from him, raw and ragged. "You know why, Liam, or should I call you the lesson? I was just another transaction, the inside track to the Sterling fortune. Was any of it real?" For a long moment, he was silent, the wind whipping his hair. "It started as a strategy," he admitted, his voice low. "You were the perfect vector, intelligent, connected, unhappy, but then he looked at her, and the pain in his eyes was terrifyingly genuine. Then it became real. You were the only real thing. The planet just continued out of inertia, out of old hatred for Charlotte, for this world. I thought we could have both, the victory and each other. Olivia felt a pang of devastating sorrow. The tragedy wasn't that it had all been a lie, the tragedy was that it had been a poisonous mixture of truth and lie, impossible to disentangle. Their love was real, but it was built on a foundation of deceit, and it could never have borne its own weight. "You can't build us on the ruins of them, Liam," she said softly. "You can't have love and vengeance, they cancel each other out. So you chose them." It was an accusation. "I chose myself," she corrected him, "for the first time. I am not a prize to be won in your war, or a trophy for William's mantle. I'm the one who ended the game." She turned to leave, the finality cold and clean. "Olivia," his voice stopped her, "what we had in the moments between the lies, was that real to you?" She didn't look back. "It was the most real thing I've ever felt," she said to the sea air, "and that's what makes this the greatest disappointment of my life." She walked away, leaving him standing alone in the gathering dusk. The engagement to William was, of course, terminated. The press had a field day with the mysterious split of Boston's golden couple, speculating about business rivalries and cold feet. Olivia sold the ring and used the money to fund a small, independent gallery in New York, far from the gilded cages of Boston. She hears snippets, sometimes. Liam and Matteo's fun struggled after the very public, failed gambit. Charlotte faded back into the West Coast shadows. William married a cheerful heiress from Philadelphia within a year. Sometimes, in the quiet of her new apartment, surrounded by art she chose for herself, Olivia thinks of the storm in Liam's eyes. She feels the ghost of that transformative passion, now bittersweet and tainted, but she also feels the solid, unshakable ground beneath her feet, ground she fought for, ground she owns. The love was real, the betrayal was real, the disappointment was profound, and from the wreckage of it all, she finally, quietly, built something authentic, a life of her own design. The greatest intrigue, she learned, is not in the lies we tell others, but in the truth we finally admit to ourselves. And just like that, another journey on the Book Whisper comes to an end. We hope it was worth your while. If this story found a place in your thoughts, help us keep the magic alive. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss the next world we explore. Your like is the best signal telling us which tales to tell more of. Thank you for listening. Until the next adventure.